So this one is going to be a Pilates based one, and those of you that have got your fitbands, then grab them. If you don't, if you've got a TheraBand, so resistant band, grab that and loop it. If not, you can still do it, you're just not going to find it quite as challenging, so maybe that's a good level anyway, or maybe if you want to work harder, you're just going to have to pause me every so often and do a few more repetitions to feel it, and then you'll be working more of an endurance element rather than a power, but that's absolutely fine. Also, if you haven't got either, grab a towel, because there'll be some elements where we're using the band to challenge arms, and a towel, if you pull it, is going to get some good activity. Not the same, but it's going to be worth giving a go to. So mat if you have, fitband if you've got, towel if not, or resistance band tied into fairly tight loop if you have a long bit of band. Right, let's get going. So we'll do a general warm up, and then we're going to do floor section for abdominals and legs and loading into arms, and then we'll be doing an awful lot of it in standing with the band. So finding a space, feet hip width apart, thinking about lengthening through the spine. Imagine that peach under chin and chest, so you're thinking about lengthening through the back of the neck, so you're just dropping your eye level slightly. Shoulders and collarbones nice and open, ribs stacked over hips. You're thinking about lengthening tailbone down or bringing hips to ribs to gently get some contraction there. Make sure you can breathe into that belly, so as you take a breath in, you let the belly expand, and as you breathe out, everything melts back down. But that position you just gained, that neutral, doesn't shift as you take the breath. This just means you're not gripping on and fixing with abdominals. So finding that neutral, we're going to inhale, take hands wide, exhale, hands lower. And just checking that rib to hip doesn't shift as you start moving arms around. So taking it wide and lower. And again. Adding a heel raise, draw ankle bones into one another so we're not rolling out onto those ankles. And again. One more. From here, taking feet wider, gonna come to saw. So toes on the angle out, palms up, rotating around one side, hand to opposite ankle, looking up behind. Stack it back up, over to the other side. Hand opposite ankle, stack it back up, into centre. One more each way. Hand to ankle, stack it up, and reach it over. Back into centre. Wriggle those feet back into hip width. Corkscrew, taking hands wide, hands behind head, elbows stay wide. Shrugging up with the shoulders and release down and lower. And again. Shrug it up, optional heel raise here, and then sinking down as you lower. One more. Shrug it up and sink down. Half curl down, chin to chest. Roll, imagine you're peeling off that imaginary wall, hands just onto above knees, arch through, the spine coming to your cat, and then tucking under, sorry that was cow, tucking under, coming to your cat. Knees nice and soft, release the head, and again, lengthen it forward for your cow. Tucking under for your cat, and this time tail it all the way back up. And again, chin to chest, full roll down this time. So stay stacked over hips as long as possible. At the bottom, release that head. Releasing one knee and heel, and pull it down, and then the other side. And again. Stack it back up even. So press the floor away, ground through the feet, roll back up through the spine. Lengthening hands up this time. Again, another roll down with arms lengthened if that's comfortable. Chin to chest. Peel off that imaginary wall. Releasing head at the bottom. Release one knee, one heel. Pop it back. Other side. Pop it down. Stack it back up. Press firmly through the feet. Press the floor away. Lengthen up. down onto the floor then. We'll start with abdominal section here. So I will give you options. Little pillow for head if that is more comfortable. If you've got your band, you're popping it round thighs to begin with. You don't need the towel for the minute. There isn't an option with that at the minute. So coming down onto the floor. So open through the collarbones and nestle down into the floor. We're coming up into double tabletop. So we float one leg, second leg comes up. So just check in where your control sits. We're looking here that rib to hip connection doesn't shift. So if you find this position, you feel your lower back wants to arch or your ribs are popping, see if you can draw ribs down and regain that rib to hip. If not, just lower heels towards your bottom and you'll feel that lessens how much the abdominals have to work. So just play and find your level. So options here, head down throughout, or you can come into abdo prep. So hands behind head, elbows wide, imagine that peach between chin and chest. Melt your ribs to hips to flow off. So take your option. From here, we're going to press out, one leg stretch. Fold it in. Other side, press and fold. So you should feel as you reach that the abdominals are having to do something. You want to work harder? Pick your pace up. Just make sure you're breathing throughout. If you decide it's too hard with the band, get rid of your band. So just check throughout that you're in control. You should feel those abdominals working hard. The lower you go with the leg, the more abdominals are having to control to stop the ribs popping or the lower back arching. Keep breathing. Two more and we'll move on. The last lot. And fold it in. So we're going to keep the band where it is and target into getting the bum firing up before we bring it into standing where we really want it working hard. So we're going to lengthen the legs. If the legs don't really want to lengthen, you can pop hands under bum to just help with range, or you can keep knees soft, okay? So see what works for you. So band is high if you've got it to begin with, hands down on the floor. So we're going to press into the band so you can feel that tension we're hoping to feel inside of bum. We're going to keep feet wide and pulse here. So rib to hip, you're in control of, you can breathe. So we're hopefully feeling this into side of bum. We're breathing and we're pulsing. No tension creeping into shoulders. So then see if you can sneak a little wider in a few pulses. Last two here. And then we're going to change band position. So you're coming lower the knees. Back into that lengthened position. So again, you might want hands underneath or slightly soften through the knees. Press into the band. Feel how you can go hardly anywhere now. We've taken the band lower. Pulse out and relax. So hopefully you're feeling abdominals having to work harder, and it's a lot harder on the bum. So make sure you breathe in. If this is too much, take the band back up and do a few more reps out here. So band placement matters. It makes a big difference. So as you press out, breathe out. As you relax in, breathe it in. So breath out as you press out. Breath in to return. Breathe out, press. Breath in. And again, breathe out. Breath in. You're going to feel thighs coming into play now as well. Breath out. Breath in, return. And again, breathe out, press. Breath in. You should be quivering. Breathe out, press. Breath in, return. Knees in. We are going one lower with the band. We're going to pop the band right down by the ankles. So give it a go. Even one rep is one rep. And then bring the band back up. If it's too much, you'll get rid of the band. Okay? This is the last one we're doing in this position, I promise. So band is now around your feet. Yeah? So you're lengthening the feet to the ceiling. You're in control of that rib to hip. Same option, hand under bum to just help if hamstrings a little bit tighter, or keep knees soft. So press. So in this position, you're pressing out into the band again. Breathe it out as you press. Breath in to return. You should really be feeling that belly work inside of bum. So press out, breathe out. Breath in, return. And again, press. And in. Breathe it out and press. Breath in, return. You can do this, breath out, press. Breath in. Breath out, press out into that band, holding. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You should have quiver on everywhere. Breathe it in, relax. One more 5-second rep. Press it out, press. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Bringing the band back up onto the thighs. We're going to stretch out through those hip flexors by doing bridges. So we'll be targeting into glutes, glute max. So feet as close to your bottom as is comfortable for your knees. Still hip width apart. From here, press the lower back into the mat, or think about hips coming up to ribs. And from there, press your heels up into your bridge. Top of bridge, check that your highest point is your hips. You're not leading with your ribs. Nestle the ribs down, press through your heels to lift through the bottom. And just holding it here. Stretching through the front of those hips. And we're going to roll it back down. And then it'd be rude to not do some bridges in this position when as we're here. So, pressing lower back into the mat or getting that tuck under. Then keep peeling off, press through the heels, ribs nice and soft though. So we're going to come on to tiptoes here. Think about drawing ankle bones in. And we're going to do little pulses down and up. So still think about that tuck under of tailbone. We're going to soften, press, soften, press. You're also pressing into that band, if your band is there. Soften, press. If you start feeling this into lower back, you've lost that tuck. So regain tuck under and press. Press. So we're aiming to feel this into your bum, into the backs of legs and hamstring. Keep breathing. Breathe out as you press. Breath in to return. If being on your tiptoes is too much, come back down. Press. We've still got some tension onto that band. And again. One more here. And relax it down. Taking the band below the feet, we haven't done. One more, just playing around where we've got that band tension. So start with feet down. Coming into our bridge. Hip to rib, press the lower back into the floor. Keep rolling up, press through the heels, but then coming up onto tiptoes. So I want you to actually walk the feet a little wider this time, just so you've got that real tension on the band. Into your bridge, you've got that tuck, and up onto tiptoes, unless that pulls your legs in which case keep the heels firmly down. And same thing, tuck in, coming low, press. So it's harder to keep the band pressed out in this position. So I'm hoping you feel this more into hamstrings, back of leg. Keep going, press. Check you've got that tuck. If you're not sure, hover at the bottom, re-tuck before you press. Still breathing? Keep going. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. We're making sure you're just not breath holding. Keep going. Your quads are coming into play now. 2 more. Always 2. And last one. Good work. Right, taking the band off, you'll be pleased to know. And just have a little roll or wriggle. And then we're going to come on over onto all fours and work with press-ups. don't panic, the band helps you with this one. So if you don't have band, then take the right level of press up for you. So with your press ups, your options, we're going to take hands wide, so we're working on bicep, bias. Check into rib to hips, you've got neutral. You can stay tabletop, so from here think about pressing the floor away, shoulders down away from the ears. Your hinge points your elbow and nothing shifts in your back. So that's option one, with or without band. Option two is coming forward, knees down, either cross leg or not, mine just seem to naturally want to. Again, press the floor away, shoulders down away from ears, you're into neutral in that lower back. Nothing shifts through the back. As you bend the elbow, press back up. Or you can come to full press. Press the weight forward, you're coming low, and if you can't get back up, popping knees down, press up. Rather than finding you're bobbing about here into small range. But this is where the band is ace, because it assists for this. So you're putting the band around your arms. Ooh. So you can see, like so. Placing hands so there's some tension onto that band. Take whatever option you want with your press up. You come down, it helps spring you up. So you come down, spring, down, spring, or if your knees down, same thing. And you can see really this is my level here, but it's good to be able to work on that strength. So you could come low, pop knees down and get assistance up, okay? So we're going to do a few repetitions. So back off your wrists even, give them a twirl. And then we're going to go for an 8-set rep, okay? So take your option. And that might change during the set, doesn't matter. So take your option, hands pressing out into that band if you've got your band. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, I'm struggling, 4, 5, 6, 7, last one, 8. Back off and give it a twirl. We're going to go for one more set of that and then we're going to move on, okay? So, take your option. Check into that rib to hip, you've got your neutral and away you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Good. So helpful in that one. Still hard work, you're still lifting your whole body on your arms. So the power went on my mic. So this one is going to be in 2 parts. We've done the floor section and now we're going to bring it into standing, and you've got me back shouting at you because I don't have the mic. So now you need to bring that towel into play if you haven't got your band, or even if you have got your band, really, because I can show you both ways of what you can do with that. So to begin with, we're going to pop the band round legs if you have the band, okay? So again, we're going to have a play with band high, low and round feet, so you can feel that different activation into your bum. So starting with it above knees, thigh level, focus in that rib to hip connection, and we're going to sit back into squat. So with the band there, you want to press into the band, so as you come down, knees stay tracking over toes, they don't drift in because you've let the tension off, okay? So check, you're still pressing out. So we're going to sit back and press away. So you can work into range to suit you, whether that's shallow or deep. You can add a reach, but check in where you can go and keep that rib to hip. Because what we often find with squats is we either dip down through the middle, you've lost that, or you come up, but then you ski jump off, so you're feeling it just into lower back. So we're aiming for that neutral just because it's harder to control. So you're sitting back, coming up, press into that band. We're going to hold here. I'm going to shuffle back, I can't see my feet, I've just realised. So we sit back into that squat, so that might be shallow, you might be deeper. Pulse it. So keep pressing into that band. You should really feel glutes if you've done the part one. Keep breathing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Press it up. We're going to go down again. So down for singles. Press away. Focus that rib to hip. Keep breathing. We're going to hold into our next one. Option, heel up and down. Keep pressing out into that band. I know it burns. 2 more. Burny, burny. Press away with control. Right, wiggle. Pop in the band below knee. Probably mid kind of, where are we? Calf. Okay? Stride it out. So you've got some tension on that band. Sitting back, coming up. So even more now, if I waddle around, you've got to control these knees. So tension's on that band, it wants to pull you in. You see how it wants to pull me into the inside border of my foot? So control where the knees are, don't end up here. Okay? So I'm going to stay here. Sit back, coming up. Sit it back, come up. So you lead by hinging from the bum with your squat. You're light on your toes and you're pressing into that band, stopping the knees drifting in. Hold into your next one. We're going to do little pulses into the band. So you press out and out, release, out, out. You can see I favour this knee. So I'm going to work this one hard to see if I can get the other one joining in. So see whether you're even, whether you lead with one or the other. 2 more, press, press, release, come up. So that really should have felt into bum. If you're still not, chances are your weight's too far forward and these are here. You need to sit back. Okay, so the difference between here, you'll mainly feel it all quad, and sitting back. Squats are still a quad dominant exercise though, but that's where the band comes in to try and target into glutes. Band lower. So, if I waddle back again, it's down by my ankles now, okay? So, step it out. So you've already got tension onto that band. Rib to hip connection. We're sitting back, knees still send wide. Coming up. And again. See if you can challenge into range now. And it's on the way up, you really have to make sure you're keeping the knees out. We'll turn this way. So I've got tension on that now. This would be minimal tension. I'm really fighting to get that tension onto the band and keep it there. So knees heading where toes are and on the way up. If I don't control this, then this is what happens. I've rolled in, I'm having to fight, which activates, I'm having to turn out my hips, but feet are flat, and that activates through your glutes. So, send the knees, direction of toes, coming up, and again. And because feet are wider now, you can challenge into range. Rib to hip focus though. Crack, crack with the knees. Knees like to sing, it's fine. Coming down. Press wide with the knees though. Keep going here. Few more, and then we're going to bring a lunge into play and rotation, and that's finally where the towel comes into play. Two more. Come on, control that. Press out. You should feel the glutes, hamstrings working on that way up. Press. And relax it off. Collect your band. Yeah, options here. We're coming into lunge, so you can keep the bands on if you want. Or you can bring it to challenge arms if you haven't got bands. Or if you want to keep band here, you can bring towel into play. So you're holding your towel and pulling out. So that's going to get activity all around serratus and into shoulders. And challenge abdominals more when we add some twists, okay? If you've got the band not round your feet, we're coming into that lunge position. And then your band is like so. And you're pressing out into that band. You're going to get minimal movement on the arms, but you're going to feel that activity, particularly deltoids, but again, serratus and pecs, everywhere, around the shoulders. Okay, so take your option. Okay, so lunge back. So feet are facing the same direction, feet hip width wider if you need a bit more stability. Rib to hip focus, so tailbone is lengthened down, and come into your lunge, whichever range you want, whether that's minimal or you're coming low. So we're going to hold static lunge. So just check in, you can wiggle those toes on the front foot. Ooh. And you're feeling nicely controlled. So from here, we're going to lift arms up without the ribs popping forward, hands low, coming high. So pull on that towel if you're using the towel, or push into the bands. One more here, come back to middle. We're going to twist round. So you twist round one direction. That front knee you're in control of. Keep the tension on the band or the towel. Come back, other direction. Back round. And again, I know it burns. Coming back. You're still in control of that front knee. Back in. From here, we're lowering, we're hinging. And press it up. So press the front foot into the floor to get back up. This front leg should be feeling this thing. Press through the front foot. And again, two more. Front knee in your control still, press. One more. And press. And step it in. Give that leg a wiggle. And we'll swap it over. So feet hip width, all toes facing forward. Rib to hip, so you're lengthening tailbone down. And then come into your lunge. So check into front foot. You can freely wiggle those toes. Foot, knees not drifting in, you're not dropping on the boards of the foot. And we're going to take hands high. Checking that rib to hip is not shifted as you lift. It's tempting to let the ribs pop. Pull onto that band or towel to get that activity through shoulders. One more. Into centre, rotate it, twist. You're in control of that front knee though. In. Other side. Back round. Once more. Twist it. And in. Other side. Twist. So we got that press down. So imagine you're picking something up, press through firmly through that front foot, press to bring you up tall. We're still into that lunge, coming forward, and press. Hard work on that front leg. And again, press. Go on, one more, coming down, and press it up. And step it in. Give those legs a wriggle. Right, one more, just to really kill these glutes off. So we're going to work with a clown walk. So we're going one direction, other direction, okay? So we'll start with band high, if you've got it. If not, if you've got no band, try and come lower into range and work it, because then you will target it even without the band, okay? So, one end of your mat, check in rib to hip. So we've got ribs stacked over hips, so we're thinking about lengthening tailbone down. Belly is relaxed though, you're not gripping in with that belly. So, take your squat, whether it's now shallow or lower into range. Rib to hip is still that focus. Out, in, out, in. So you're not fully taking the tension off, back we go. You breathe in. Press away. Hands coming below knees, you know it's going to get harder after what you've experienced in part one, if you did part one. So, again, calf level, press out into that band. Take your squat. Ready? Out, in. Much harder. Try not to teapot over to achieve it, because then you're switching off that support glute. Press. You're going to have to fight harder to get the band going. Control where that knee is. Knee is going even. If this is too much, bring the band back up higher. Glutes should be really feeling this. Press away. Give it a wriggle. Right, if your glutes are stronger than mine, you might be able to do it with the right band around your ankle. I really go nowhere if I try and do this. I've got, and you can see how I start to shift over. So if you're there, you can try that, walking one way to the other. If not, and you still want to work this, try and get those feet as wide as possible and just shift your weight and see if you can sneak into range. Knees are still over toes, they're not drifting in. So see where you can sneak into range. Keep breathing. Wriggle yourself back out. Great for skiing if anyone's getting prepared for next ski season. You're in control of those knees. And we're breathing. And wriggling. Right, get rid of your band. And let's just get a little moving a bit without the band and see how it feels now, okay? So we're going to squat down, come up. So see if you can keep those knees in check now without the band. Your legs probably feel light as a feather, or you're not quite sure what to do with them, because the band does give you a lot of input to tell you where your body is in space. Sink into that next squat. Alternate up and down with the heels. See if you can sneak lower. This will be burning, okay? It's your last bit. So keep breathing. Check rib to hip, especially if you're feeling this into lower back, so that's not where we're aiming to work. Pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press it up. Wriggle of the legs. Coming to a lunge, and we're going to press our weight forward. So feet hip width, facing the same direction. Rib to hip in your control. We're going to sink down. So that might be shallow. You might come knee to floor. We're then going to press forward for swimmers. So this is rib to hip focus. You're lengthening the foot, leg away. We're not arching up here. Okay? So it should be straight line foot to hand. So, rib to hip. We're coming low, we press. So really lengthen and come again. Low, press. That front leg can stay bent, or you can lengthen. How are we doing? One more here. We're going to change it. We sink low, we come up, see if you can pop onto both toes. So heels are off. So we come low, hop, low, hop. Keep going. Oh, we're out of music. It's because of my pause in the middle. Have a breather, give the legs a wriggle, and then we'll swap sides. And then we're done. So swapping over. So feet facing one direction. Rib to hip, so lengthen tailbone down. Still breathe into that belly though. We're not fixing. Figure out your range, where you want to work to. And then we're coming into that lunge and press for our swim. So think length. Coming back. And press. Right. Can't see how I'm doing this one, whether I'm banana backing or not. But focus on the biggest space possible between hand and back foot. Keep going. Last two. And we'll take it to that straight leg heel up. So we come back into our lunge, and then we come up, option heel up, down and pop up, down, pop. So if you want more challenge, pick up the pace. Last two. And give it a wriggle. Right, one last little cool down then. Feet, hip width, we'll start with roll down. So feet hip width, lengthening through the spine. Chin to chest, imagine you're peeling off that wall. Roll it down. Release head. Soften both knees. And press. Think tailbone high. Soften. And press. Soften, press. Stack it back up, ground through the feet, press the floor away, roll it up. Corkscrew, hands wide, elbows stay wide, shrugging up, release and lower. One more. Shrug it up, release and lower. Feet on the angle, toes out, palms up, pull, saw. Rotate one side. Opposite hand to foot, look up behind, ground through the feet, press it up, into centre, over the other side. Opposite hand to foot, and press away. Releasing hands, interlace behind your back, feet in narrow again. Draw them down and back, lift the chest, looking up. Few breaths here. Releasing the hands and a few shoulder rolls. And we are done. Sorry that's in two parts, at least it's split into the floor section and standing section. So enjoy, and I'll be back with something soon.